You remember that scene in the movie Richie Rich where he just comes home and he's got like a McDonald's in his house and all this stuff? That's what I wanted as a kid. That was my dream, to come into my beautiful mansion and just get my McDonald's and go home. Unfortunately, not all of us can be born Richie Rich status, but a lot of us are born with some help. I know for a long time, my parents were paying my cell phone bill. They were helping me with savings, especially when I was going through college. And giving me a place to live, etc. But then at some point, I realized you have to cut yourself off from your parents if you want to succeed. When I was maybe 20, 21, 22, something in there, I did it. I started paying my own cell phone bill, I started paying my own rent, and all of a sudden, my earnings went from this to this. I stopped having the financial mindset of a child and I started having the financial mindset of an adult. And that's what I want to talk about today. If your parents are giving you money in any way and you haven't established yourself in your career, you got to cut that off, kid. You got to cut that out. You're not Richie Rich. First, I want to talk about the reason why I cut myself off from my parents in college. And it was this book, Millionaire Next Door: Surprising Secrets of America's Wealthy. And inside this book, it talks about a concept called economic outpatient care, which is research that proved that adults that don't receive money from their parents earn a lot more than adults that receive money. And this could even be as small as $100 a year, would drastically decrease the earnings. And so me, as a budding entrepreneur, somebody who wanted to achieve great things in life, it was clear what I had to do. This was the first hard choice that I had to make in my entire life. Some people talk about the hard choices when it comes to waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning or doing that one thing a day. The hardest choice that you have to make as somebody who's getting gifts from their parents is to tell your parents that you don't want those gifts, to just cut them out entirely. And your parents will love you for it. I want to shift this mindset because a lot of people in this generation are thinking about how they can get things from their parents. Oh, my parents are so old, and when they die, I'm going to get this big inheritance. Or how do I get my mom to buy me a house? How do I do this? And part of this is because this generation is poorer than previous generations, interest rates are higher, et cetera. Throw all sorts of excuses in there. But we need to shift the mindset from how do I get my parents to take care of me to how do I take care of my parents? And it could start simply by taking over your cell phone bill. But if you don't even want to take that big of a step, how about taking your parents out to lunch? When's the last time you paid the bill for your parents? I know for me, I didn't even realize this. I have not paid for a lunch with my parents or a dinner with my parents my entire life until maybe 6 months ago. I took care of the bill. It was $50, like it was nothing. And it just made me realize how much we are taking from our parents instead of giving. And I'm sure as parents, it's cool to take care of your kids and all that. But imagine how much more pleasure they would get when their kids are starting to take care of them. And it's not anything crazy. It's not making enough money to buy your mom a house. And it's not making enough money to buy your mom a car, which are goals that I never resonated with because I didn't come from extreme poverty. If I bought my mom a house, there's no way it would be as big as my mom's house. My mom's got a giant house. It's great. If I bought my mom a car, there's no way it would be better than her current luxury car that she has. And so when I hear stories of this, oh, young kid comes up, buys his mom a house. I'm like, bro, if I had to buy my mom a house, I would need $100 million. I would need too much money to figure out how to do that. But start small and think about getting your parents things that they don't necessarily need, but will warm their heart. I'm like trying to think of examples, like how do you get something for somebody that has everything? I was trying to think like maybe pay for their maid service for a day, but they already got a maid. What do you do? Maybe buy them a second car, but they already have a first car. The real advice is just pay for small stuff. If you're taking out your whole family and maybe the bill's going to be $200 for breakfast for a couple people, cover that bill yourself. I don't care if you make $3,000 a month. Cover that bill yourself. Just start taking care of the little stuff and remove yourself from anything related to your parents giving you money. If they're paying for your apartment, get a job and start paying for your own apartment. If they're paying for your phone bill, I like that as the base because a phone bill could be anywhere from $50 to $100 a month. Anyone can find that, especially in the United States and Western countries. But in non-Western countries, the phone bill's $10. So you could find that. Start there and move your mindset from how can I take from my parents to how can I give to my parents? Even if it's not 100% obvious because you come from more of a wealthy or a middle class background. It's not as easy for us. Our moms aren't homeless drug addicts. Our parents aren't in jail or destitute. But that's not an excuse to take. You shouldn't be thinking about your parents' inheritance or anything like that. And actually, I will talk about this in a future video. I came up with the ultimate scheme that parents can use for their kids so that they never worry about this inheritance thing. And I'll talk about that in the future. But for right now, you need to cut yourself off from your parents, and that will substantially increase your income. It'll substantially improve your relationship with your parents. It'll give you more freedom as a person, and it'll let you start taking control of your life. I didn't even tell the most impactful story. When I first did this, my parents gave me the money from when I was a child actor. I was in a couple commercials. I got maybe 10,000 bucks. And the first thing I decided to do was travel the world. I wanted to go to Spain, then I wanted to go to China, then I wanted to move to New York City. And when my mom found out about this, she wanted to take the money back. She wanted to seize my bank account. She thought I was going crazy. What, you want to drop everything and go to the other side of the world where you know nobody? But because I had cut myself off, she couldn't do that. She couldn't seize anything. And there I was on the plane to Spain the next day. And my entire life has been impacted because of that trip. I got to see what it's like to navigate a country without knowing the language. I got to see the freedom of movement. I went to China, was bored after a couple days, decided to go to Thailand, decided to go back to China, was moving around, and I set up a lot of the digital nomad style habits that I eventually wrote about in my book, Digital Nomad Manifesto. But none of that would have happened if my mom was able to take that $10,000 from me. I would have ended up maybe in a corporate job. Who knows actually where I would have ended up? In order to gain happiness, you need to remove parental control. And in fact, I would even flip the script. Instead of letting your parents control you with finances, you start giving them things. And once we start giving, we'll start receiving even more. Thanks for watching the video. Smash that like button for more content like this. Subscribe for more videos, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. I'm Alex Berman. More content like this is inside Digital Nomad Manifesto. You can search that on Amazon. I'll talk to you later.